Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I would like today to welcome our guest. But beforehand, due to our migration to different parts of the world, we face different challenges. And there might be similarities in the challenges, in the type of challenges, or might be differences on the type of challenges that we face, depending on the time and the place that we live in. So the challenge that we face in the West, it might be different than the challenge that we face in the East. We react differently and we try to find solutions to the challenges as individuals and as communities. I would like today to welcome Brother Omar to the Education First weekly meeting. Brother Omar Muhammad Hurui, born and raised in Asmara, went to Al-Islamiyya Al-Mahad Al-Dini in Asmara, and then to Lu'ul Mukannan High School for 9th grade. Completed high school at Victoria College in Alexandria, Egypt, and 4 bachelors at Cairo University, Faculty of Science, Geology, also Business Administration from Pepperdine University. Probably you might correct my pronunciation if it's not accurate.
No, you're good. Pepperdine.
Okay. Thank you. Held many managerial positions and finally settled as business and investor, managing his own companies. He lives in Orange County, Southern California. So Brother Omar Hurui had been a board member of the Eritrean Muslim Council of North America for over 10 years. He has helped guide EMC to what it currently is today. In 2012, he was responsible for the reviewing of the EMC 5-year strategic plan. In 2017, he was one of the founders of Araha Investment Groups, whose goal is to build community centers and masjid across the country for Eritreans. Probably the first center being in Southern California. You might enlighten us about this project at your speech. Brother Omar also, he owned or operated several different businesses over the years. Without any due delay, I would like to welcome Brother Omar and to give him the platform for, actually we are waiting eagerly to see our kind of people working and producing and being positive. Jazakumullah khair.
Shukran jazilan, Ustaz. Before I start, 2 corrections. Number 1, it's not 10 years, but probably over 20 years now with EMC. I was one of the founders, so it's over 20 years.
10 times.
Number 2, yeah. Number 2, I had nothing to do with Araha, starting Araha. So our relationship with Araha is we use them as a conduit to manage our projects in Sudan.
Great.
That's the extent my relationship with Araha is. I'm not the one who started it, or I didn't have any hand.
Great.
Now, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, Rabbil Samawati wal Ardi wa Rabbil Arshil Azim. والقائل في كتابه في مكانة العلم والعلماء قل هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون والصلاة والسلام على أشرف خلق الله سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين أما بعد. For the sake of expediency and to benefit more people, I'm going to do my presentation as it shows on the screen in English, but I'm going to explain things in Tigrinya too. I'm okay with Arabic, so any questions that you may have, if you want to put it in Arabic, I understand and I can respond to that. But we will go with English and Tigrinya today, inshallah. And on behalf of EMC and myself, first I would like to express my gratitude and thanks to Education First and the organization itself and the management for giving us this opportunity. And to all those who showed interest and came to know more about EMC, past, present, and future. Education First endeavor to focus on education as a means of attaining a better future for us all is a worthy and timely effort, and is shared by your sister organization, EMC. At EMC, we believe educational empowerment is one of the effective methods of changing our future. Today, inshallah, I'm going to talk briefly about EMC, how it started, when it started, its focus, its vision and mission and opportunity, the projects that we focus on, and eventually some lessons learned that we learned in the last 20 years in organizing a community, so that not only do I have to tell you the story of the past, but on how to avoid pitfalls, focus on important things, strategize, and focus on the prize. Let me start with the beginning. The beginning, I came to America in 1984. This was the time when Eritrean Muslims as a whole felt, a crash and a blow after the demise of Jabha, ELF. Whether we were with ELF or not, we were all affected. And that result is affecting us until today. We came young to America, after my graduation, and I always, gravitated towards working for the community. And this I learned from Rahmatullah alayh, Ustaz Bashir in Eritrea. We had a scout group. Many of them are attending today. We had a scout group, and Ustaz Bashir worked for the same purpose, to empower his community with the meager means that he had. He did a lot. Today, many of us are a result of his hard work and vision, Rahmatullah alayh. When I came here, there was no community in America as such, organized community, local community. There were more people in Washington area, but I don't think there was an organization. So by 1987, we started our local community. We call it EMMA, Eritrean Muslims Association. We started our own, and we had some vision on how to empower ourselves economically, and in the meantime, doing the work, the community work, together. We succeeded. That at that time, many immas opened in America. Today, wherever you go, where there is Eritrean Muslims, we have a local community that works for the betterment of that local community and is part of EMC in an indirect way. There is no membership in EMC, but all the local communities in America and North America, including Canada, are affiliated with EMC in an indirect way. They help and we help. They attend our conferences. Not only that, but they're by our bylaws, they're owners of EMC. There is a place for each community organization in America, 2 seats in EMC. They can exercise this at any given time and be the effective, owners of EMC. In 1989, at that time, in my place, in my area here, we had an office. We were doing really good locally. But few of us gathered together and we said, we're doing good here. And our history is we progress 1 year and we, retreat 1 year. So why don't we export this idea of working together, of organizing locally on the basis of economic empowerment and social empowerment? So we called for a regional meeting. First it was regional and then we made it national, America. We wanted to call for a convention of all Eritrean Muslims in North America to do exactly the same, the way we did it in EMC, to discuss about our issues and our and progress and affairs. Okay. At that time, not too many people were interested in the politics, including myself. I'm not a politician, so my strength was in community organization. So we did that. For some reason, that didn't go through. Okay, we called for the meeting, but we didn't, it didn't materialize. Few years after that, some members who were with us locally moved somewhere else, and they started, a group discussing about the same issues again, community empowerment, our affairs. I was invited to it, and I became a member of it. This was on the internet only. Then we called for a meeting. There was, an occasion in Toronto, so we met in Toronto, okay? And 11 of us, the names that you see, these names, the cream of the pie, wonderful people. They are the ones who started EMC, and they're still active until today, except 2 people, I think. This group are accomplished people. As you see, we have Dr. Kamal Ibrahim, a professor at the university, Dr. Abdul Qani Zakaria, the same, Khabira Musa, Ibrahim Mahmoud from Toronto. We met at his house first for 2 days as a steering committee when we started EMC in Toronto. Dr. Khabir Ahmed, Muhammad Noor Keke, Allah yarhamu, he passed away. Dr. Khalid Bashir, Ustaz Abdullah Adam. Dr. Muhammad Bashir Johar, who was very instrumental in starting EMC with the rest, and he is still an active board of trustee member. Ismail Omar and myself. Except Ismail Omar and Ibrahim Mahmoud, all of them are there, and Dr. Khalid Bashir. The rest are part of the board, the board of trustees, we call them. This is the beginning of EMC. We had a meeting of 2 days in Toronto, and the idea was for us to do the preparation and call for a convention, which we did, and that was in 2002 in DC. There we had 2 days, and on the second day, we, did the election and gave instead of a steering committee, we created EMC proper. At the beginning, like any organization, we had some difficulties and misunderstanding, but alhamdulillah, egos did not prevail, and we were able to create EMC. EMC, okay, let me go to the EMC Driving Principles. EMC's vision, in short, is to empower Eritrean Muslim communities. When I say communities, of course, the cornerstone of a community is an individual. So individuals and then communities. And our mission, again, is to enable Eritrean Muslims to thrive by connecting, educating, and supporting each other locally and globally. There is the caption that you see there: come forward as servants of Islam, organize the people economically, socially, educationally, and politically. And I'm sure that you will be a power that will be accepted by everyone. This is Muhammad Ali Jinnah from Pakistan, but it reverberates true today. There is no any other mix that can work the miracles except that. Okay, if we become egoless, okay, without ego, we come to serve, the other, without interjecting our plans, our individual, wants to it. So that's our driving force in EMC, alhamdulillah. The organizational structure at EMC is as follows. We have the yearly convention, okay? At this stage, communities fight for hosting EMC, or compete, I should say, to host EMC in their place. We changed several things to where we made it attractive to the hosting community to take care of that convention, and alhamdulillah, they do. Year after year, we have had, in the last 20 years, 19, I think, conventions, and showing progress year after year. So the structure at the top is the EMC Yearly Convention. That's where we elect our board. When we go there, we elect 10 board members for 2 years. Okay? It's staggered, so every year you have 10 people who will go out of the board and 10 people will come. No. But you have EMC Board of Trustees. The 11 names that I showed you earlier, we're not 11 now, I think we're 8. Those are the Board of Trustees. When we began, we didn't have Board of Trustees, but it was not a secure structure. Because we go to a locality and open it up for them to elect anybody, okay, to be a board member, that person, could be a foe or could be someone who genuinely wants to work. So there was not a mechanism by which we sifted out, the people that we don't need there. So what we said, we have to have a board of trustees. The founding members of EMC are the board of trustees. They don't have any more privilege than the board members that are elected at the board level, at the convention, except on one occasion. If we see EMC, its mission and the vision drifting away from what it was supposed to do, we will intervene. Alhamdulillah, we did not have any occasion like, not even close. The progress that we see, the willingness to work, the talent, you name it, and we have it, alhamdulillah. We're grateful for that, to Allah. So, but it's like Sammam al-Aman, زي ما بيقول يعني. It's there when it's needed. And then you have the EMC board of directors. We have some wonderful people that we attract wonderful people every year. And as you know, it's free. They don't work for money. And there is so many things, so many meetings, so many discussions that goes on to effectuate all those projects that we have. And that's done mostly by EMC board of directors. From the board of directors, we have 3, now 5 EMC Executive Board from the board. Executive board, for someone to qualify to be an executive board, to lead EMC or be in the leadership of EMC, he has to have been with EMC for 1 year. That 1 year is the time that person is going to know what EMC is, how EMC functions, and whether he can work in that environment or not. And then the second year, he or she will qualify to be in the leadership of EMC. And then at the end, we have EMC Empowerment Committees. I'm going to mention them later, but these are the different groups that specialize on each facet of empowerment. Let's say some of them are interested in economics, some of them are interested in relief. So we have those people manning those committees, and they work throughout the year. For this, you don't need to be elected. We can either name names or take from the board or anyone interested to be part of this. Alhamdulillah, our conventions, I remember our first convention, we had about maybe 50 people attending. And I remember we had one young person, that was my son, attending. And he was bored and he did not come the second day. Nowadays, if you go to EMC convention, you may have more youth than the parents, which is a wonderful progress that we plan to have, alhamdulillah. Our conventions, you will see anywhere between 500 to 1,000 attendees. Our convention it goes on for 5 days. The first 3 days, it starts on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We have a parallel gathering for the youth. Every year we take them out of the town that we're in, and they go there for an outing for 3 days. That is organized by EMC Leadership Academy. The focus there is to train and discuss leadership, traits and characteristics with our youth, or anything that we think is essential for our youth outside of the town, and it's fun for them, and they like it. They wait for it. So that's a 3 day. They come back Friday morning and they join the convention in the afternoon. After Salat al-Jum'ah, we start our convention. It goes way late until sometimes 1 a.m., but usually at 11. And then the next day is all day from iftar, to late night, where we conclude with a talent show and a dinner, a gala, EMC dinner gala, and a talent show. Very, well run, beautiful event. Alhamdulillah, and every year we are progressing in that. I have put some pictures there that you see. The first one that you see was in Fullerton University. Okay, and then probably over 1,000 people attended on those 3-4 days. It was well run. We have speakers, every year we attract, some select group of speakers from Eritreans and Americans and others. And our convention centers around the deen, health, and wealth. We have training sessions all around, parallel sessions, main sessions, big, gathering, addressing all those issues and more. We have advocacy group, EMC advocacy group. They have their own presentations. They bring history, professors of history or activists, Eritrean activists, to talk about Eritrea and the issues that we're facing. We have two of our shuyukhs, Sheikh Ismail Mukhtar and Sheikh Yasser Fazaga, that come every year non-stop, and they're the dynamos of our community. We're grateful and thankful for us to have them here. We have parallel women group sessions. Our women are like no other, really. And I believe all Eritrean, women are like that. They are so focused and work-oriented, task-oriented. Without them, I think we would have not done as much at the EMC or otherwise. We have business and investment empowerment sessions that goes parallel to that. We bring speakers and we talk about business, models, investment, real estate, things like that. And then parallel to that, we have young professionals. We have all ages of the youth, but these are the ones who have graduated and who are working most of the time. And they have their own dinner, their own gathering and their own plan, their own speakers, their own dinner. Okay? These are the young professionals. Parallel to that, we have Emc Matrimonial Night. This has gone, I think, for over 10 years. And alhamdulillah, we have brought, love to many of our youth. They come, they see each other. This is moderated by our shuyukh, and we provide them a moderated platform for them to know each other, ask each other, and create that relationship for halal marriage. We have succeeded in that, alhamdulillah, and thanks to Sister Layla Abdurrahim, a very dynamic member of the board that has worked on this since the beginning. There are others that are helping her, and they provide this platform to our youth, girls and boys who want halal marriage. We have many newborns that came from this gatherings, alhamdulillah. So they're kids of EMC. And then finally, we have EMC Health Professionals. What we did was we brought the doctors and nurses in our community, anyone who specialized in health, and we created a group for them. Mostly, they meet, okay, and they have their own shows at our conventions. They come for 2 days. They do checkups. They help people, and they do a follow-up. We do all sorts of work for free at our health, and then we provide them with with phones and contact persons, and a very successful endeavor. Earlier, I said we're focused on 3 strategic plan principles of connecting, educating, and supporting. Those 3, phrases or words summarize what we do. We connect with our constituents, whether local or international, the people that we help in Sudan, Yemen, and Ethiopia. We create connections with them. First, locally, with all the groups that we have, the youth, the women, the empowerment groups, and we connect with them. Meaning we created a platform for them. They come, they talk, they plan, they implement. This is the connecting. It goes more than that, but that would suffice. Our educate goals is local and international. Locally, we have our youth, where we create seminars for them. We prepare them for university, entry to university, to local universities. We provide them with information. We have professors that among the board that help them, and other volunteers too. So that in itself, is an empowerment in the field of education. It's not the proper education only, but anything that we do, financial literacy and classes and seminars, business training classes and seminars, the scholarship and endowment, arrangements that we make, the career planning seminars, the leadership training for our youth and adults, the funding that we raise for our educational projects, the classes that we run in. First, we started with Khartoum University, with the Eritrean students in Khartoum University, but then we went to the refugee camps in Shagarab and other. Okay, we focus on them. We support them with anything that they need. The Shagarab High School, okay, we sponsor that. We did so many projects for them. I'm going to come to that later. Vocational classes for women at refugee camps, libraries at refugee camps, high school at refugee camps, etc. That's part of the educational efforts that we run. Support group is an add-on. We have these projects and we are there to support it financially, logistically, or whatever, however and whatever is needed. So we do that. We have mentors, business mentors, educational mentors that are ready to answer questions from anywhere in Northern America. People in business, they would call someone and ask for help, ask for an advice, and we provide that. Like I said, we have a business symposium every year. One of the main ones we have is the relief projects, and mainly at Sudan for the refugees that we have. We extended that to Yemen, our refugees in Yemen and our refugees in Ethiopia. It's not only a talk, but كلام مقرون بعمل. And this is a motto that we have. Yes, we talk too much, and it's abundant all over, but if it's not reduced to work that helps the individuals, then your efforts will go in vain. And we're aware of that at EMC, alhamdulillah. And what we do is every year for the last, I would say 15 more years, we have projects running. Mainly, we started with Sudan. This is one idea that we had when we started EMC. We said, education alone, without organizing the educated people to work and help their people, is useless. Money alone or wealth alone, if you're not sharing it with others, is useless. So we were aware of that, and we said, we have fard kifaya for our brethren in the refugee camps, the people that were there from 1967, that were abandoned by their brothers and the government. We focused on that from the beginning. So however meager the help that we provide is, the focus is to do that fard kifaya for everyone in North America, to go with their money, help their people in the Sudan. Or now we have in Yemen and in Ethiopia, and we're doing it. So we see it as fard kifaya, and we facilitate, EMC facilitates that, alhamdulillah, successfully. We have a local focus, but most of our money was going to fund the projects in the Sudan. Nowadays, we have local focus too, and we'll talk about them later, inshallah. The projects that we have, let me see. EMC projects in Sudan. I remember our first project, our brother Hassan Mia from Washington was the person who was organizing it. And we had brick and construction classes for the youth in the refugee camps in Sudan. We hired, construction people and trained them on how to do bricks and how to do a construction. The first construction they did was a class for them. So we trained them to do how to build, and we funded, the construction of a class for those people at the refugee camp. Followed by the knitting and sewing classes that went very successfully. We had over 200 people that were trained by professionals. We provide them with machines, and eventually we gave out over 70 machines for those who excelled in those classes. The focus was on widows, people, women who did not have enough help in that community. So we trained them. We gave them the means to be business people on their own. We gave them the machines, and we created those businesses for them. That micro business financing is that, sewing and knitting. In Khartoum, we started with English classes. One of our sister from here went for 2 weeks. She was with us at the board. She went to Sudan and conducted a 2-week class for the Khartoum University Eritrean Muslim students, student union. It was very successful. That class was followed by 2 more classes where we hired professionals, 2 teachers. We announced it everywhere, and many people attended and completed those classes. Those are computer classes. The refugee camps, we conducted many first aid training and certification classes. We gave them certificate. They were trained by professionals. Every year we have Ramadan and Eid projects in Sudan. We collect money from here, thousands of dollars, thanks to Sister Layla, again, a dynamo that has, showed her utmost interest in her people. And she has worked tirelessly year after year, working on parallel on many projects at the same time. She does the matrimonial, she does the relief projects in Sudan and many other projects. So our relief projects, we have the Ramadan and Eid projects. We select the Aitam and we provide them with Eid clothing and food. This is every year. Now we extended that to Yemen and Ethiopia, refugees. At the refugee camps, we successfully, dug 14 water wells. Imagine how that affects their livelihood. We have videos. This is where we use the Araha to do the actual work for us. Okay, the money comes from us, but Araha has people at the refugee camps and they manage the projects. So project management is done by Araha for us. Whether on the ones that I mentioned in Sudan or the ones that I'm going to mention, everything is done through Araha. The wells, each well, okay, this is the information that we have, is used by 4,000 people, one well. Imagine those 14 wells, okay, running clean water day in, day out, is a big help for our women there, mostly, who go miles to get water, drinking water, unhealthy water. Alhamdulillah, EMC has a wonderful hand in changing that for them and progressing too. One of these, the 14th well, is donated by a member, a youth, who organized his own group and collected the money. Okay. Another one is done in the name of Hajj Musa, rahmatullah alayh. Okay. We built 2 water catchments for both the boys and girls high schools. This is a structure, a cement structure that was built professionally to collect water. And that has been in use since 2-3 years now, I think. We have equipped and built a library for the girls' high school. The Shagarab High School, they did not have electricity, so we provide them with the solar energy. That way, we will bring computers and train them on computers, inshallah. And we did that a long time ago, and we're going to do it again. But now their classes are lit. Okay, they can work day and night. They have free electricity, solar electricity donated by EMC, alhamdulillah. We have a health clinic at the high school where the girls' school, this is the girls' school, where a professional will attend to their health. We pay for the professional, and we're going to continue that again. Locally, we have EMC halaqas with Sheikh Ismail Mukhtar. Many from outside North America attend his halaqas. Is organized by our sister Kauthar, another dynamic, a wonderful, selfless, hardworking member of the board. Okay, she organized that every month, and we have that, alhamdulillah. Now we have some these are the projects in progress. Now we're going to build small huts, houses for the needy, the extremely needy people who do not have dwelling. We're going to collect money and construct those. We have some money already. Okay, this year we were extremely successful in collecting money in Ramadan. So we exceeded the quota that we had, or the limit that we had. So we have some money, and we're going to use that as a seed money, but we will need more, of course. So we're going to build those. Another thing that we're planning is helping an individual or community with food is short-lived. No one would die from hunger except in extreme conditions. So we're focusing on bringing in projects that have a lasting effect. For example, we're trying now to select 20 families. We will give them money to create businesses, micro businesses. The idea is we're going to buy at the camps, we're going to buy goats for them, where they will propagate those, of course, but they use them to get milk and sell milk, ghee, all that, goodies that come with it. This is not a gift. This is not hiba. We want them to repay it back. Okay? Sign a promissory note for them to say that if they make it, whenever they get the money, they would gradually give us back, so that we will duplicate that experience with other families. So we're focusing on anything that we do now on duplicability, and it's self-financing projects. If these people give us back the money, we'll give it to other 20, okay, and we'll bring some more money, we'll make it 40, for example, and that is a non-stop project that will affect so many, families and individuals. We're planning to have computers at the libraries. Okay. I mentioned all these projects. It's good to talk about them when they're done, when they're accomplished, but it is a fight. Our people, whether in North America or elsewhere, we have this problem of not giving, of not connecting, of not feeling for the other who is, worthy of your money. I'm not saying everybody, but North America, the potential is 50, 100 times of what we have. Okay, we're better than others. We could collect money and we could do that. Now, when I say this, I'm not blaming the people. Okay, this is one of the challenges that we have at EMC. We have not been able to harness the potential that we have at EMC in our communities to where we would double, triple, 10x projects that we have. Okay, it is doable, and primarily I would say this is the challenge, one of our challenges. You may call it a failure or a challenge. I would like to call it a challenge, because to me, something done is better than nothing. And our board, our communities are doing whatever they can, but the potential is huge. Another challenge that I see is the local community participation. Outside of the convention has its own attraction. people come to the convention to see each other, to see people that they never saw for 20, 30 years, to have fun, to bring their youth, their kids. We succeeded with the youth, and we planned it that way. We were saying that if we attract the youth, the parents will be attracted, and that is really true. There are many parents who come not for the sake of themselves, but for the sake of the youth. The youth wait for that event. They talk about it. They have Facebook. They prepare for it. So it's a good attraction. But the community members' participation in our functions is really meager. It's not up to par. It's not, we did not reach our potential. So there are work to be done there. Locally, we don't have the empowerment projects. They're focused either in Sudan or primarily at the convention on those 4 days. We were not able, or we have a challenge to extend that to localities, going there, to the locals and talking about our projects. At the beginning, for many years, we had what we call EMC mid-year meetings, where few board members went to the hosting community 6 months ahead of time. Number one, to see the attractions there, for us to see where we are going, to sign for the convention venue, to pay for all those. At the same time, we used to sit and talk, with the community members on their issues, on what they want to see locally, on what we can do, on how they can participate, on how they can send their 2 local emissaries to the board, all that. Lately, we're a little bit lagging on that. There is no year-long project management in our localities, and that is needed. 5 days in a year is not enough. Even though we have, the seminars that we do, that still is not enough. So we have challenges on that. One of the main challenges is the people who work are very few. We go to a convention, we bring 10 people. If we get at the end of the year, if 3 of them stay or 4 of them stay, we're lucky. People would put their names, they're elected, but they don't fulfill the responsibility. So that challenge is we see it. So at any given time, other than the Board of Trustees, the people who work day in, day out are very few. And they do it without saying, I am doing too much or complaining. So that's a challenge of not having enough people who want to work at the board level, at the community empowerment level, at the committee level. Another challenge we have is not having a predictable stream of income for EMC. How we get our money is either through Facebook or the drives that we make in Ramadan, okay? And we collect good money. But beyond that is at the convention. We go at the convention, at the dinner gala the last night, we ask for help, we get help. Now, how this money is going to be, spent, we have a structure wherever we go to a locality, to a hosting community, we leave some money for them. This started in our 5-year plan, okay, we said we cannot ask communities to host us with no return. There has to be some for them. So in our 5-year plan, we said what we need is to create local offices or local centers that will be a youth center and for the community. We started with Atlanta, I think, and then we progressed with that. Whatever we get after we pay our expenses and we get a little bit of money for the ongoing projects that we have, we leave all the money that we make, whether from the donations or from the charge that we charge for food, for entrance, all money that we make is divided like that. Our expenses for the convention, our expenses for the ongoing projects that we have, whether local or international, the rest, we leave it to the local community. So we specified that it has to be done, has to be for building a local community center, buying our own community centers, so that the youth will have a center to go to. The communities will have a center to call, either a masjid or their own center. So far, we did not have a center that has been open. Few years, 3 years ago, the convention was in Orange County. We had a lot of money that was collected. EMC donated $50,000 for the local community. This is after paying all expenses, $50,000 as a seed money. And we created our own community. We're collecting money now. Inshallah, we have, a good committee that is doing that. Together with the help that EMC gave us. Real estate is very expensive in Orange County. You're looking at $2-3 million. So gradually we're collecting the money, and at one time we're going to ask for help internationally, inshallah, and we will do it. And that's last year, the community asked us to give them the money so that they want to buy burial grounds. We gave them the money for burial grounds instead of local community. So this is an ongoing project that we have codified in our 5-year strategic plan. This year, by the way, we have a new strategic plan, and it's being finalized now. Another challenge that I see, this is not only for us, this is also for any community. This is like lessons learned. Not having a hired project manager. Even though this idea was brought, but it did not go through. But in my opinion, this is my opinion, what you get from volunteers is not going to be 100%. You cannot ask a volunteer to do this, why you didn't do this, why you didn't that, and he's not beholden to you. If you have a hired project manager, you can guide him to do your work. You can give him projects. He can go and interact with your youth everywhere. This could have catapulted EMC to the international level, I say. And we have a challenge on that. That person could get more than the money that you pay him. If someone is paid $50,000 to do that job, he could easily go to communities and collect money for that, 5 times, 10 times that. And I believe that is the way to go. We started with scholarship endowments. Every year, EMC would give, we select few people who are at the university level, okay? And would ask them to write an essay or something, and would give them a scholarship money as a help, as a token help. And this, we do it every year, and we announce it at the convention center. the scholarship and the endowment, the idea was to expand it so that families and individuals can sponsor, can be part of it. For example, a big family can sponsor 2 or 3 individuals, okay, in their name, okay, in their family name, and EMC would manage it for them. We have one such family that is doing it, the Nabarai family, and they're doing it, mashallah. But we did not expand that. Another challenge that we have is attracting bona fide business people to come and enlighten and train our people in business. This is another challenge that I see. Now, all this and more. We have many challenges. You will hear people chastising EMC for not doing this, for not being political, for not, in my opinion, EMC is the only organization that has, weathered the winds of, you name it, and stood its ground until now. The camaraderie, the coming together, the thinking about and working about benefiting others that you see at the board level is, wallahi, I'm testimony for that. I have never seen people like that. This, okay, I say is because we were successful to take ego out of what we do. We do not bring our egos to the mix. Otherwise, we would have not stayed there as one cohesive group working for other people until now, alhamdulillah. I'm coming with one idea that was presented to EMC, but for different reasons was not successful in the implementation phase. This, even though it's coming from EMC, I want anyone to copy this. And I personally, I will be here to support and help that community, that individual, that institution, to put that in practice. Sometimes, I mentioned that at the end, we have many educated people, many. We're not short of PhDs and masters at this stage of our development. It's not like the 60s or the 70s, okay? When I was at school, we used to say, this family, they have their son in Egypt, okay? It was rarity to see someone a Muslim person who has graduated and so it's no more. We have abundance of that, actually. The challenge now is how to bring those people to work, okay, to give back to their people in the field of education, like what you guys are doing, mashallah. Okay, this is the challenge. Now, whether at EMC or anywhere that I see, we're scared from big projects. We immediately, say this is a dream. If someone comes with a big project, instead of, analyzing what that idea is and challenging yourself and others to reach to that level, we cut it off. We say this is a dream. That's how everything starts in this world. You dream and then you reach to that dream. And that's the level where you reach to progress, and development. So one thing that is left for us is education, and what you guys are doing, mashallah. Okay. Why?
like what you see here, education is the passport to the future. For tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. We cannot blame others for not doing this or not doing that. We cannot blame others for not giving us our right even. Okay? That's not how the world works. We have a chance to prepare for tomorrow, to work for tomorrow as a group. What is it that we don't have? We have everything. We have the brains, we have the PhDs and the educated people, we have, money, abundant money. It's the leadership that we lack. Wherever we can, we need to create a leadership that focus, say, on education as a passport to the future that we seek, the future that we design for ourselves, the future that we want. We should not wait until things are going to be done for us. It will not be done. And it will not be fair, or acceptable for us to stay, complaining. Education is one of the proven passport way, okay, to development and progress, to a better future. So I commend what you guys are doing, and it's part of what EMC stood for at the beginning. And inshallah, all of us, we need to go to the next phase. The next phase that I am proposing here is, you can take that EMC, forget the EMC, anyone can take this idea and do it. Global Eritrean Muslims Educational Development Fund. At the outset, this idea, okay, is going to be seen as a very difficult idea that is not going to see the light of the day. Okay? It's difficult to organize people, all Muslims. Okay? Wherever you have this kind of a challenge, you need to be stronger than that. What you need is to sit and plan and strategize. There are many people who are ready for this type of work. Now, yes, this is global in nature and it's going to cost, or it should bring a lot of money. So what I'm suggesting, this is a global Eritrean Muslims commitment and a proactive approach to creating a designer enlightened future for all of us. A perpetually self-financing educational empowerment initiative that would have positive social, economic, and political ramifications in our future. Many may think that educational empowerment is not political empowerment. It is intertwined and is a bedrock for political progress and success in whatever we need, whether it's equality, whatever we need, justice. Okay? When an educated group handle our affairs, is completely different than when it's not. So that's the dream, that the Eritrean Muslims, with whatever we have, will be a bunch of educated societies, communities, completely different than yesterday and today, and through which we're going to get equality and justice in politics. Without that, if there is a difference, we're going to suffer. Case in point, let me give you a history. In Eritrea, long time ago, 100 years ago, the Italians, the Catholics, and the Protestants came and trained their people, converted people, Eritrean Christians, and facilitated for them to go to school. So you see the Eritrean Christians in Karen, highly educated. The Catholics, the Protestants in Eritrea, were the cream of the pie in terms of education. And then they were leading. Okay? That's the difference that I'm talking about. We can come to that kind of conclusion with our money, with our initiatives, okay? And we can change that reality. Projects like this, I don't have to see the fruit. These projects are not going to be done in 2 years, in 3 years. If you work hard, you're going to see the first fruit in 5 years, in 10 years, which is fine in terms of how life is going to go in the future, how many years we're going to stay on this planet. So this is the idea that I'm...
جزاك الله خير أستاذ عمر. I'm conscious of the time.
Okay.
Normally,
let me conclude.
Yes, normally it's 1 hour lecture, then we have question and answer. So
okay. Yeah. So this global, the phase 1, I call it a 1 million global education fund. Now, don't be scared by 1 million. People were scared by that. Okay, here too. This, you can reduce it to 2,000 people who will pay $5 per month for 60 months for a total of 1,200,000. I mean, 200,000 in 10 years. I can even go lower than that. $5 is very simple in America and Canada. $5 may not be easy in Saudi Arabia or the rest. Do $1, a commitment of $2 every month per individual in a family. This is a global Eritrean Muslims education fund. This is what will determine our future. So people will pay. Managing it may not be easy, but it's not impossible. I hate free things. So that 25,000 grant or loan that we're going to give to winning candidates will come with a promissory note of repayment that they will sign, either with kind money, or they will commit to give 200 hours community service wherever they are in the Eritrean community. You can have with this 50 graduates in different fields, 10 PhDs, 15 master degrees, 35 bachelors or more. Time frame, 3 years for PhD, 3 years for masters, and 5 years for bachelor's degree. The good thing, you don't need money right away. As you collect your money, the money you're going to send people, and you don't need the 5-year lump sum payment. You pay every year, so there is a leeway that okay, a picture is worth 1,000 words. This is partial convention scenes in this is the EMC Eid, مشروع كسوة العيد, the water wells, anything that you see, the Emc Health Corner every year. I did that. Now, lessons learned. In community work, goodwill only is not enough. Competency and leadership is required. Okay? So if we want to progress fast, we need to give the leadership to qualified people. That is not done in communities such as ours. Okay? Another thing that I learned is lasting progress is achieved through creating institutions. An active person is here for temporarily. Either willingly he's going to go out, or something is going to come and take him out. So if you want something to be a lasting work, you need to create institutions. I believe EMC is an institution now. We're there, the people who started it, but it has its own mechanism. We have our youth. One thing that I did not mention, that is fakhr for us all. In our 5-year plan, we said in 3 years, we need to give the leadership to the youth, 60% of it to the youth. I was the chair at 1 year. My vice chair was a youth, Camelia Barra, a wonderful, wonderful leader on her own. So she assumed leadership for 3 more years after me. Okay, she and her cousin Kauthar brought the youth to us. What we have now is 100% managed by the youth, run by the youth. Everything is run by them. They're capable, they're good, they're willing, better than us actually. So that's one of the achievements that we had, alhamdulillah. Another thing is leadership and management. What we call a leader is someone who has a vision, not someone who manages the daily stuff of the organization. That's management. A leader, by definition, has to have a vision. I always say is a leader lives in the future and comes back to his people and explains what that future looks like. This is a leader and takes them forward with him to the future. This is leadership. So it's good for organizations when we think about leadership to think of it this way. We bring someone who manages our affairs, but who would take us from a step to the next step, to the next step, to the future. Well, I think I am almost done. Women and youth have to be part of any organization. This is my experience. If they are there, they're better than us men, number one. Number two, it sends a message. If we do not bring the youth, it means we're creating a club for us, the oldies. How are we going to create continuity for that organization if we do not bring them and train them? We succeed on this in EMC, alhamdulillah. It was on our plan, 5-year plan, and we acted on it. We were surprised. In 2 years, 100% was taken by them. So that's really an important issue. Let me see. Number 2, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala في محكم كتابه يقول قل هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون. So this is part of what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us, that there is a huge difference. And we need and we want الذين يعلمون to lead us to the future. وإلا, we're going to waste our time. Another thing is إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. This is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is asking us to proactively change our situation. If we're not active in changing it, we're not going to change our situation. Our future is not bleak, is bleak. Another qawl ma'thur, I don't think this is hadith, is what says من أراد الدنيا فعليه بالعلم ومن أراد الآخرة فعليه بالعلم ومن أرادهما معا فعليه بالعلم. So what you guys are doing, what EMC is doing and supporting is pivotal, is at the focal point of development, progress, equality, political progress, any which way you name it, that's what is needed. And inshallah وفقنا الله جميعا في خدمة الآخرين, and thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. والسلام عليكم.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله.
معليش طولنا.
تسلم الحبيبنا. ألف شكر. I would like on behalf of you to thank Brother Omar. To be honest, what you have mentioned, it has been very informative and very relevant to the people who work in the community sector. Also, I could share with you so many points that you have raised, the challenges that you have faced and you have addressed. and what's the way forward. We share so many things, and we put those questions to ourselves, and we have similarities in tackling them in some, and there are other ways that we thought it might be the right way based on the situation that we face. Inshallah, maybe this is the beginning, but inshallah we'll have some more other time to share with you.
Inshallah.
Now the chance is
أبو عمر
Yes.
ممكن
تفضل.
لو يعمل انشير عشان الصورة تكون ظاهرة ما دام خلص البرزنتيشن. شكرا.
How do I do it?
Oh, you've done it already, I guess.
Done.
Oh, I did. Okay.
You've done it. شكرا. طيب, now is the time for people to put the questions to our guest. Just to clarify something, with regard to the structure, there is interesting point to myself that you have mentioned, which is the board of trustees. You said that when you have the convention, you elect, is it board of trustees or board of directors? Because you said also that the founding member are the trustees. They intervene only when things doesn't go according to order, giving some stability. So am I right? You call them both board of trustees, or it's
board of trustees
Yeah.
are the founding members.
Lovely.
Those are permanent members.
Okay.
Okay, and they don't come and go. They're not elected.
Excellent.
Board of directors are elected. 10 of them at every given, at every convention.
Great.
And it's in a staggered form. We have 10 coming out and 10 going in.
Great. So all of them, sorry.
Yeah.
All of them have to change? Okay, carry on.
No, not all of them. Half. The board is constituted of 20.
Yeah.
So every year we add 20 and we take out 20. So you have 10 from last year permanent always.
All right.
They're there.
Okay.
And one thing that I didn't mention is the executive body, the people who lead us, the chair, the treasury, and the secretary, and the vice chairs and those are elected from the board members.
Okay.
And they have to have done 1 year in EMC.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, and we changed all that, even the trustee, we changed it after we went to a convention and we were, someone who does not know EMC came and became the chair for that year, for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Alhamdulillah, he was good. Yeah. But this is Sammam al-Aman, as I say.
No.
Okay, you have people who know, EMC more than the current board members who have been there for 2 years. So unless something happens, we have nothing to do with anything. Actually, like I told you, all management now is done by the youth. We're all these, we just support them and give them help. We are at the board, but we work under them. These are wonderful, capable, educated members of the youth. Alhamdulillah, we have people like that. That's why I was saying the challenge now is not only having more educated people, is bringing those educated people and giving them tasks to give back to their community. At our community at EMC, they're doing that, mashallah.
Also, do you have...
Did I answer? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you have paid staff? Because our long-term vision here to sustain and progress our community organization is to have paid staff who are going to manage, and they are the people who are going to stay there and develop over the years. We are finding a problem in finding the salaries that they deserve. This is the challenge that we need to overcome. After that, when we have able employee paid well, I think in the long term, that's the way for us forward. What's with you?
Similar. Actually, I wrote the plan for EMC and I presented it to the board, where EMC could be, number one, financially sustainable. Number one, you get the money. Out of that money you get, you hire part-time youth. You don't need, maybe at the beginning, you don't need a full-time person. Part-time, task-oriented. You give, for example, the youth task to somebody to work 10 hours per week on it. You don't need too much money. This could be a part-time, not during the day. He could do it on his leisure time. Just let him work 10 hours, doing the task that you assign to him. Let me give you an example. One thing we wanted to do is create connection with the youth in all the localities. Now we only have Facebook or the yearly convention or the leadership outing that they do. Beyond that, we wanted to send somebody, bring capable people to do lectures for that community, for the youth especially, maybe once a year in each locality. That person can focus on that only. He's going to be an expert on it. He knows who to bring. He knows how to handle those conventions, local conventions. He knows how to ask for money. People are not saying we're not going to pay. People are waiting for leadership to lead them. That's my experience. They're not saying we're not going to pay, but show them what you can do and they will pay you. So you don't need to pay full time. 5 hours per week, start with that. 5 hours per week is not going to be a lot of money. You will be able to do it. Before you do that though, widen your constituency and ask them to pay. One mistake we're still making at EMC is, with all this, we have 1,000 people coming to a convention. We don't ask for money. We don't ask for money. This is a flaw, This really has to be fixed. Those people are willing to be members of EMC or your organization, and they will pay. Don't ask too much, but you have two ways. Either rich people paying a lot, or many people who could not afford too many paying $2. That's money. Now you go laterally on adding more people, they will pay you. Hello?
Abdulkadir, you are unmuted.
Yes.
Okay.
I muted myself.
Okay. Now
I'm trying to go through the questions.
Okay. Do you hear me, brother?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Yes.
Okay.
Jazakallah khair. I don't know. You said that you are employing people part-time to do specific tasks. That's fine.
No, we did not do it at EMC. That's what we should have done. That's what you can do.
Okay. So the employees that you have, is at the moment, you have employees?
No.
Okay.
It's all volunteer-based.
On volunteer basis.
Volunteer-based is not good always. We need to come out of it and then smell the coffee. You cannot expect a lot from volunteer people.
Okay, definitely.
And it's mismanagement.
Definitely.
This is mismanagement.
I think being in the community work, involved with community, probably, maybe it's our short fault that we are not conveying this real challenge, because we go to have some activities, we find the same people who support and assist and get involved. It's the same people wherever you go. The others are just observing and watching, but thinking that we are paid and we are gaining something out of it. Probably we need to address that it's on voluntary basis. We are exactly like you. We have our responsibilities, but because we feel that there is moral duty to fulfill, that's why we are involved. We're not getting any pennies. In fact, probably in many cases, we end up paying, but people, they do not realize that.
To tell you one thing,
Yeah.
For many years at the beginning, we were shy for asking people to pay for the hotel even. So the people who started it, we were paying from our pocket. Another way we were paying for the expenses is we would bring pens and coffee mugs, and we make a lot of money, $4,000 or $5,000 from it, and we used to pay for it. That's at the beginning is okay, but as you develop and grow, there has to be financial certainty in an institution. It has to have its own financials, worked out, so that progress, to attain progress. Otherwise, like you said, everybody is working. You cannot tell me as a volunteer why you didn't do that, why you cannot get mad at me. If I hire you or you hire me, I'm getting money. You can do, another thing you can do is you can pay them on a project base, either hourly or a project base. There are many, ways of doing it.
By the way, you could raise your hand in order to chip in, brothers and sisters. Also, if there's any question that I'm missing, because most of what I'm seeing is our comments generally. Otherwise, I have to go on and ask. From your presentation, I see you are involved in so many tasks. For example, working in the United States and abroad, you have some projects. With Emc here in the UK, we put ourselves focused only on certain aspects of community work. Secondly, our focus is with the UK only. We don't go beyond that. So as organization, this is our approach. But as a community, it created a chance for other people who have different interests to come, like Al-Muwasat, who are totally focused on burial and standing by the families who are going through some hardship due to loss of some member of the family. Or we have the relief organizations like Ithar, Al-Amana, Kafil, and so on and so forth, who are working abroad. So it created a chance to specific organizations focused on specific objective to flourish. Do you think this approach might, first of all, reduce the pressure on EMC, and collectively as a community you could produce something? I would like to hear a comment.
We have two levels. For example, where I am now, we have Eritrean Muslims Association. This is a functioning organization that we started, I believe, in 1987. And we do all that locally. We have a burial, we have land for burial, we take care of our people, anyone who needs help, we help. We have allotted, funds for that, okay, out of the yearly payment that we make. And then we help organizations. We have another organization that, Kafalat al-Aitam locally, that we support. We help people. EMC is focused on the big picture, on bringing all the communities in one plate. So we ask for money, and we run it through our projects through Araha. Araha takes care of the implementation, and we take care of the funding. So this is not in lieu of what we do. Each and every locality has its own project. So EMC we do not want to go down to that locality and fund burials, for example. That could be done by the locals. EMC is doing, like I said, the Fard Kifaya for everybody, to help the people in Yemen, in Sudan, in Ethiopia, and in terms of relief help and educational empowerment. and health empowerment. We do all that. That's what I see. It's separate. In your, probably yours is like our IMMA, the local. You're local. EMC is not local. EMC is for North America in general.
Okay, Sister Kausar.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hala.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Marhaba. Thank you so much for providing this opportunity for Ustaz Omar Al-Huri on behalf of EMC, to present such a wonderful presentation that he gave, kind of summarized everything. All the planning, the strategies, the work that's been done in the past, and the work that we plan to do with EMC, inshallah, in the future. Hello, sahla, Ustaz Omar Huri, barakallah feek. Hello. If you could maybe shed some light on EMC going global. You did mention it's a North American endeavor so far. How do we go international? That was the plan that we had at the very beginning. It does take time and effort and a lot of participation, but if possible, how do you think we can go about doing that? It is internationally known, but how do we get people from UK, Australia, Europe to participate and become members, or at least help with EMC activities that you mentioned? If you could shed some light on that, I'd appreciate it.
Sure.
Barakallah feek. Shukran.
Shukran.
Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Kauthar. Kauthar is the one that I spoke about earlier, our dynamo, and all this progress that you see with the youth came through Kauthar and Camellia. Those two were very instrumental in bringing in, our youth. Alhamdulillah. Shukran. Yeah, first is we need to work on the structure of EMC. Like what I just mentioned, EMC has to have hired, people who can do the job for us. EMC has to succeed in attracting more people to its mix, okay? In terms to the board or to the conventions. EMC has to work on a plan on how to financially be to stand by itself with financially. And this primarily is asking people to be members and pay a yearly or a monthly stipend so that EMC will have enough money to run its projects. Once we do those, once we strengthen the structure of EMC, then people are ready. I remember I was pushing for that, and I made some inroads with people in Sweden. I believe this is Ustaz Nu'man and others, okay, along that idea for EMC to go. And for us, and we discussed this. We even contemplated taking our convention to Australia for a year. We said, why do we have to do it in America only? So we were thinking about taking it to Australia, where we have so many followers. So to answer your question, Kauthar, is we need to work on the internal issues that we have first, and then project forward too.
Brother Abdussalam.
Yes, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Can you hear me, brother?
Yes, I can hear you.
I don't have any question, but I'm just to say, barakallah feek, brother Omar. Wallah, it was very interesting talk, and I learned a lot. Inshallah, this whatever I get today was very early in the morning in Australia, but very, very interesting education was from my brother Omar. And inshallah, like Kauthar said, welcome to Australia, inshallah. And we welcome you here in Australia.
Inshallah.
Thank you very much, Brother Omar.
شكرا عبد السلام الله يخليك.
Sister Leila. Sister Leila.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Thank you so much, Brother Umar, for enlightening the people around the world or around USA and Canada to enlighten about EMC. We needed this opportunity. Thank you so much, Education First, for bringing EMC to your program, because there are a lot of questions flying around that maybe it helped clarify today by Brother Omar. He highlighted most of the things that needs to be known. And also I noticed there is some chat questions in the chat, if you can see, and Brother Omar, if you can try to briefly answer them, that will be great. One clarification that I have, Brother Omar, we built a library in Shagrab High School, and that is with coordination with Kind Hearts. There was an organization who initiated building the library, and we built the library in Sudan. But after it's built, of course, it needs shelves, it needs books, it needs computer. We need to develop more, and that function was taken by EMC. Alhamdulillah. I just want to clarify that Kind Hearts was also involved at the beginning of the project. Barakallah fikum. I don't have any question. I just want to, if you can check the questions that are coming in the chat, that would be great. And again, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. Barakallah fikum.
Okay. Thank you. If you want me, I could read the question maybe.
Yes, please.
There is a question not to you only, it's to the most of the community organizations. Sometimes they say that the government in Eritrea have maybe influence on you sometimes, or the government of in Eritrea, they are trying maybe to hijack and get a benefit out of you. What's your comment towards this kind of question? Also, how good is your existence in Canada? Because they say, unfortunately, we have to put this question to you, that you don't have any existence in Canada.
Two questions. The first one is not a new question that people have. This question is what stifled our progress at the beginning. People were so cynical that because we did not say EMC is a political organization, they outright thought that if we are not working for politics, therefore we are with the government. None of us works for the government. None of us is affiliated with the government. And why we made the second tier of board member is just for that. So that if we see any interference from anybody outside the communities, we will have the power to realign EMC to where it should be. In my 20 years with EMC, I have never seen any influence, anyone who has influenced EMC with the agenda of the government. To the contrary, we have the advocacy group that is hard on the government. Okay? There is a balance that we have to keep. And this is the secret why you see EMC after 20 years. Imagine if EMC was a political institution, organization. No organization has stayed this long, this intact. We managed it real well, where we did not say we're not going to do anything political. We managed that well. We bring issues of politics that is pertinent to our conventions and talk about them. We bring professionals, okay? We bring history people, to tell us history. In the end, anything is the understanding what politics is. Anything that you do, it has a political connotation in the end. Education is politics. But أطمنك يا أخ جبريل, no influence of this government. As to me, I am against this government. Decidedly against this government for what it does. So is everybody, almost, that I know. So it will be the last day of EMC that you will see, okay, this group in Asmara would come and hijack EMC. That's what we have, the second tier of board members. If we see, I did not say it earlier, but if we see any influence of government or otherwise, or any political party, to come and hijack EMC, we will intervene as board of trustees. So don't worry. Canada, we had 3 or 4 conventions in Canada. EMC, the first meeting was done in Toronto. We have people who follow us, but nowadays, it's not as, what we have in the USA. Actually, it's because of COVID that we didn't have this year's convention in Canada. It was going to be in Toronto. Next year is in Toronto. So we're still connected with Canada. We have constituents in Canada. The challenge that we have is the one that I mentioned earlier. Connecting and communicating with our constituents. I agree with you. We're short of doing that. So we have people in Canada. Salam.
Brother Mahmoud.
طيب السلام عليكم. شكرا الأستاذ عمر حروي والأستاذ عبد القادر بدير. السؤال إنه عندكم بلان بالنسبة في البلان بتاع الفايف يير، إنه عندكم بلان للليدرشيب تريننج وتوريث القادة، بمعنى إنه من القادة إن شاء الله الشباب الجدد. الشيء الثاني اللي هو التشالنجز موستلي سيم، يعني زي ما ذكر أبو عمر اللي ذكرتها بالنسبة للموجود في بريطانيا، واحتمال كبير يكون متشابه في دول زي أستراليا وغيرها، الله أعلم. يعني أنا متشابه التشالنج عادة في الإريتريين على ما أعتقد. الشيء الثاني اللي هو عدم إنه وجود السنتر لكم، بالنسبة إنه أعتقد عائق كبير جدا عدم وجود مراكز إسلامية في أمريكا بالنسبة إنه للتطور، وحتى إنه أنتم تعملوا فلو للأكشنز اللي قاعدين تتخذوها، وحتى السستينابل إنكم عشان إنه يستمر الإنكم. على ما أعتقد عدم وجود المراكز لكم عائق كبير جدا للتطور، وحتى إنه تقيسوا إنه أنتم بالنسبة للداخل في أمريكا إنه ماشيين كويس يعني. على ما أعتقد النقاط هذول. فبالنسبة للمراكز الإسلامية أو أن يكون عندكم مراكز في أمريكا، هل في خطوات غير المركز اللي بدأتوه؟ وشكرا أستاذ، جزاك الله خير.
إعداد القادة جزء لا يتجزأ من فعاليات EMC Convention، مؤتمر Convention every year. So لمدة 3 أيام بناخد الشباب برا المدينة and we train them. We bring speakers, we train them. طبعا ده الشيء اليسير يعني. Okay. We could do more than that. But ده يعني من ضمن فعاليات EMC. وبما يخص يعني transferring power to the youth، احنا سابقين للخطوات دي. يعني احنا حطيناها في الخطة الخمسية، وفي مدة 2 كان عندنا خطة بتقول يعني في مدة 3 سنين حنسلم القيادة 60% من القيادة للشباب، وفي مدة 5 سنين حتكون 100%. بعد يعني الأحداث ما شاء الله يعني سبقتنا، وفي ظرف 2 حولناها ل100%. دلوقتي يعني من 9 years almost 8 years 7 years الشباب هم اللي يديروا الاي ام سي. احنا ما لنا دخل في المانجمنت except on the board level. So يعني ازداد. وفيما يخص مراكز إسلامية ده كان في الخطة الخمسية ولسه شغالين فيه. من ضمنهم يعني سنتر في Southern California where I live. وده يعني EMC لها جهد كبير. أولا يعني في يعني حط الفكرة ذاتها في الخطة الخمسية والعمل يعني مع الكوميونيتيز في إحداث تغيير so that الكوميونيتيز المحلية يكون لها مكاتب مصلى أو قول ما شئت يعني سمي ما شئت community center. طبعا يعني I mean Southern California الحمد لله عندنا عدد كبير و EMC ساعدتنا $50,000 في يعني المشروع هذا يعني. وده حياخد وقت لأنه المباني هنا والأراضي يعني مش هينة يعني $2-3 ملايين. هذا يعني أرض صغير مش كبير حتى يعني. فحنحتاج لمبالغ هائلة ويوما ما إن شاء الله حنيجي تاني ونسألكم للمساعدة بقدر المستطاع ونخليها يعني عالمية
إن شاء الله. تسلم. طبعا والله شاكر جدا. أول حاجة يعني كن في تشابه كبير بيناتنا بالمناسبة.
صح.
تشابه في التسمية، تشابه في العمر الزمني. يعني جمعيتنا تقريبا صار لها 30 سنة ومركز النقاشي صار له أكثر من 10 سنوات تقريبا. في حاجات تشابه كثير. والأستاذ محمود عثمان هو اللي كان مدير مركزنا يعني، بس الآن لأسباب استقال وتحرك يعني في آفاق أخرى من الحياة. نتمنى له التوفيق.
آمين.
طيب تقريبا وقتنا انتهى هنا. شاكر جدا 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 كونك معنا اليوم، وشاكر جدا لكل الخبرة والحصيلة العلمية اللي أشركتنا فيها معك. وإن شاء الله لقاؤنا يتجدد، والمشروع اللي طرحته فيما يتعلق بالتعليم إن شاء الله يعني explore نعمل له and we carry on the dialogue زي ما يقولوا عبر الفيسبوك أو عبر التويتر أو أي قناة موجودة للنقاش أو في اليوتيوب نفسها. وإن شاء الله يعني الكلام اللي تفضلت فيه والخبرة والحصيلة العلمية هذه تكون متاحة للجميع ويستفاد منها ونبني عليها. شاكر جدا. I would like to thank you for the wisdom and the information that you shared with us. And inshallah, this is the beginning of the dialogue. I hope the youth especially, what we want is to give you the fruit of our experiences so that you could build on it and move beyond that. You will find the materials in our YouTube, Education First, in the Facebook, and carry on with the dialogue. I give you the chance to conclude if you have any message to convey, Ustad Omar. Really appreciate your time and your
جزاك الله أخي بدير. and number one يعني أنا ممتن جدا لإتاحة الفرصة لEMC ولي شخصيا نتواصل معكم يعني. The second thing is we should not shy from big projects. We need to weigh the capabilities that we have, which is planning, and the potentialities that we have. This needs to match. Okay? The future is ours. So this is مشروط. يعني كما في القرآن إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. This is only if we change the way we think, the way we go about our issues, okay, to bring about change. Politics have killed us. Okay, our issues in the last 50 years يعني من الزمان يعني. So there has to be a parallel progress with politics. I mean pure politics. That's why they don't see EMC as a political organization. We don't want it as a political organization. There has to be something that goes parallel to that takes care of the affairs of people. Ta'aleem, if you think of it as pure non-politics, exactly like what we had the question, they're going to say, oh, you're not a political issue. The priority is politics. But Umar is not a politician. So are you asking Umar not to interfere and work in the affairs of his people? These two things can coexist. We will support our politicians wherever they are, okay? If they focus on us, we will do the other stuff, education, relief. Okay, relief is very important thing too. To me, it's wajib, muqaddas. My people since 1967 are thrown in Sudan. Those people, I don't know them. I don't have to know them. The wajib insani wa wajib watani for me to think about them with whatever meager means I have. $1 is okay. Neglecting them is bad. We're not animals. We do not live for ourselves. We live for the other. That's when you get طعم الحياة. Okay? When you live for somebody else. For you and your family, شيء يعني مفروغ منه. That's what the animals do. So we need to, in the end, that's what I say. And there are opportunities like what I presented today, whether in education or something, to catapult our effort to globally, so that you in England, the other in Kuwait, the other in Turkey, the other in Australia, to come together and to create institutions that work for us, that bring about change for our people. يعني فكر مقرون بعمل. Okay, this is the main thing. Zarabatrai is useless, so أفكار هذه كلها لازم تتجسد في مشاريع. يعني أنوح لكم معلش ممنونين شكرا جزيلا جزاكم الله خيرا.
جزاك الله خير شكرا وشكرا لجميع المشاركين وإن شاء الله لقاؤنا يتجدد.
آمين.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.